Purple songs can fly on the airwaves. They just need a chance to start. Purple songs can grow and hope and faith and fly from heart to heart.
Did you know Purple Songs Can Fly? Welcome to our program, produced by the Children in Treatment at the Texas Children's Cancer and Hematology Centers. Our program is about great music made by some terrific young talents. Now, here are the hosts of Purple Songs Can Fly.
Thank you and welcome to the program Purple Songs Can Fly on the Voice America Kids Network. I am Zach Tavlin,
And I'm Emily Freeman.
and today we will be talking about Purple Songs Can Fly and ZapBoomBang Studios with Mr. Lopez Negrete. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi
Good
there.
to be here.
Thank
How
you.
are you
Emily.
doing?
Very well. Zachary, good to see you.
Good to see you too. So tell us a little bit about how you heard about Purple Songs Can Fly.
I have to give credit to our general manager, Patricia Torres Bird. She is a dear friend for years and years. And when we were looking for the organization to really christen the studio with, we kept looking and looking. One day she just walked into my office and says, "I've got it." And when she told me about Purple Songs Can Fly and she told me about Anita, I said, "Yes, I think we do have this one."
Oh, nice.
So I have to give credit to Pat.
Wow, that's
All
perfect.
right.
That's awesome. So, in ZapBoomBang Studios, what made you decide to christen your new studio with a purple song?
Well, Kathy and I, my partner and wife, Kathy Lopez Negrete, we believe that how businesses begin have a great deal of impact on whether they succeed or not. What the karma is for the business. I mean, I guess it's just two old hippies at work here, but we really do believe that. Well, first, a business has to give back to its community and has to be participant in its community. You cannot have, like they say, there's an old saying that you can't have strong branches without having deep roots.
Right.
And that, to us, that really applies to the business. So that's how we wanted to start the studio. With something really meaningful, transcendental, that would just kind of set the tone for the karma for the business going forward. And that's kind of been how we've always operated all our businesses, and especially Lopez Negrete Communications, which is the mothership, if you will, of all the businesses. And we do a great deal of community service. We have something that we call APOD, which is Agency People on Duty. And we go out, clean beaches. We do a lot of readings at schools. I mean, there's just a lot of community work that all
That's
our businesses
great.
do. So
That's great.
That's wonderful.
It's not the exception; it's the norm.
Okay, so I'm really curious about how did you get the name ZapBoomBang?
Well, all our businesses have kooky names. We believe that naming a business is important. What you name a business sets the tone. Sets the expectations.
Oh, exactly.
It sets the frame of mind for people working within the business and coming to the business. With ZapBoomBang, we had, if I could only tell you how many names were on the table, you'd be surprised. But ZapBoomBang just kind of sat there and grew on us. Obviously, Zap, if you dissect the word, Zap is, you zap a project with creativity. Boom addresses the sonic part of the business. It is a sound recording studio, not just a post-production facility. And bang, you've got great product coming out of it. And, we have other businesses that have crazy names like Tippit and Moo, which is a small creative agency that we have. Like Tippit, tipping cows. Is it real?
Oh.
Is it a myth? You'll just have to find out. Our real estate holdings company is Camp Wampum, because when we bought the business, we took all our savings and put it into buying that building. And it was all our savings. It was all we had. And you dissect the word camp, and it's Kathy, Alex, Michelle, and Patrick. Wampum, money, because it's all we had. It was Kathy, Alex, Michelle, and Patrick's money. So,
Yeah.
Camp Wampum, L.A., our L.A. holdings, L.A. Papoose, because it's the baby of, can't bump them.
Okay.
So, we like to have fun. Our business is not an easy business. None of the businesses. I mean, running a studio is not easy. Running an ad agency is not easy. And if you can't have a little fun in the process, then it's just not worth doing.
Right. Well, I mean, Lopez Negrete Communications is
That's
that
crazy
kooky of a
name.
name.
That's a cookie name.
So you have many businesses. Why a recording studio?
Well, music's always been a passion of mine and of ours. Kathy and I originally met in 1978 working in a record store, so music's always been a part of our lives. I've always had a near maniacal dedication and focus on the quality of the music and the quality of the post-production that goes into our work. The more variables you can control, I believe, the better off you are. In today's business, clients are expecting you to have full control, but to be fast, to control costs. And so having our own studio, when we have the building that we could do whatever we wanted to do in, it just kind of seemed to make sense. Plus, Emily, not too many years ago, Houston had a lot of recording studios and had a lot of post-production facilities that were quite good, but, the economy kind of was a kick in the gut to a lot of people.
Right.
And it's just over time, some of those businesses closed up, and we believe that Houston's economy, Houston's business climate, our geography, just that the time is right to put Houston back on the production map. We really believe that this is a good time for it.
And honestly, if any studio could do it, ZapBoomBang could. It's absolutely amazing.
It is.
Thank you.
is.
I have to agree.
Oh, yes.
And so just if you're tuning in with us now, you're listening to the Voice America Kids Network and Purple Songs Can Fly. I'm Zach Tavlin.
I'm Emily Freeman.
And our topic today is Purple Songs Can Fly in ZapBoomBang Studios with Mr. Lopez Negrete. So right before we cut to break, I'd just like to say that our next segment, we'll talk about the making of our Purple Songs Can Fly Studios and ZapBoomBang. Actually, ZapBoomBang's first song, It's Out There Waiting, and just kind of how it was made. It was made by several guest artists and myself, Emily, Alex,
and some other kids.
Devin,
Yes.
Jesus, and Layla. And Layla was the youngest. She's 6 years old. And this is her song, Tell Me About Springtime by Layla.
Tell me about springtime. Tell me about springtime. Tell me about springtime when the flowers are in bloom.
Rainbows everywhere. Rainbows everywhere. It's springtime. Rainbows everywhere. Rainbows everywhere. Rainbows everywhere. Tell me about springtime. Rainbows everywhere. Rainbows everywhere.
Tell me about springtime. Tell me about springtime. Tell me about springtime when the flowers are in bloom.
Tell me about springtime. Tell me about springtime. Tell me about springtime. Tell me about springtime. Flowers start to bloom. Tell me about springtime. Butterflies come and fly.
Tell me about springtime. Tell me about springtime. Tell me about springtime when the flowers are in bloom.
Tell me about springtime. Tell me about springtime. Tell me about springtime. Butterflies come and fly. Tell me about springtime. Tell me about springtime. Tell me about springtime. All butterflies come. Tell me about springtime. Tell me about springtime. Tell me about springtime. Blue commons bloom. Tell me about springtime. Tell me about springtime. Tell me about springtime when blue is blue. Hi, my name is Layla. I am 6 years old. It's springtime, it's springtime, it's time to go outside. It's springtime, it's springtime, it's time to go outside. It's never too late to go outside. It's springtime, it's springtime.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Voice America Kids Network and Purple Songs Can Fly. I'm Zach Tavlin.
I'm Emily Freeman.
And today we're talking about ZapBoomBang Studios and Purple Songs Can Fly with Mr. Lopez Negrete. Welcome back.
Thank you. It really is great to be here with you guys. Every time I've had a chance to be with you, I learn something and I walk away, a better person and just completely fulfilled. So thank you for inviting me.
Well, it's
Thank
great to
you.
have
It's
you.
great having you. It's great
Yes.
talking to you.
Thank you.
And you had a similar effect on us, I'm sure, when we worked on the song. That's at least how I feel.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
That was a
Yes.
special couple days.
It
It was a great experience.
Speaking of the song, what was the inspiration for all the guest artists that you recruited to write the song with us?
Well, first, Purple Songs Can Fly. Once we dug in, or I personally dug in and learned more about Purple Songs Can Fly, about Anita, about you guys, then I shared it with Andres Levin. I always had Andres Levin in mind as the producer. One, you got to meet him. He's a 6'4", almost intimidating person. I mean, he's got such a big personality, but then there's this teddy bear inside. He is truly one of the kindest and gentlest souls I've ever had the pleasure of working with. And I just knew that Andres would be the right one. Now, he's just as crazy as Kathy and I are in that he understood what we were trying to do by christening the studio with a project like this. So he got it. So he was always the first piece. And I trust to me is fundamental in anything you do. It's fundamental in your personal relationships. It's fundamental in your business relationships. Everything in your physicians, everything. Trust is just central. So I trusted Andres to put together the collection of artists that would do this. But we really wanted to, sometimes they say, too measured of a risk is no longer a risk. It's just risk management, right? Or just decisioning. And so what Andres and I agreed to is let's really take a risk and let's put together artists that have never worked together. I mean, if we're going to take the leap, let's take the leap. And so he started putting forth a few artists that he reached out to. They all said yes. There were probably another 6 or 7 artists that were reached out to that said yes. And then we listened to the voices. We listened, okay, who, you start making the painting. Okay, well, here's a voice like Marsha's, really trained, controlled, beautiful voice. Then you have Suzanna's voice, which is really textured and very soft and just it has great matices, as we say in Spanish. It's got great shades to it. Then you have the rocker thing going on with Gustavo. So we really kind of put, not knowing, and of course, anybody who can't get along with David Gassa just really needs to leave the planet. So we really kind of put the painting together with these different voices, not knowing if it would work. So we really believe that we wanted to take the leap all the way. So that's kind of how it came together.
And honestly, like, what you say is so true. I mean, all the voices of each individual artist were so different and so original in their own way.
Yeah.
Hearing them come together was crazy. I remember when we first got there, they did that little concert for us. Just singing like a song or two each, and everyone was blown away.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know what? David has earned his chops as one of Texas' great musicians. You witness it. There's nothing he can't play.
Wow. I mean, whenever I met each and every person there, it's like they're all different paintbrushes, and they're putting together this amazing painting, and it's great.
Yeah, I was really proud that that it worked.
So, was it a logistical nightmare to get everyone together, or did it all just seem to fall into place? Or?
Surprisingly, and again I go back to karma. When some things are just meant to be, they fall in place. They just do.
Yes.
I mean, everybody's schedule was really easy to to manage. I still look back and go, wow, because keep in mind, I mean, nobody was paid. I mean, we do at ZapBoomBang, gosh, dozens of projects a week. People who are paid and very well paid, and it's very difficult to get people's agendas and everything get together. And here you have something that's completely 120,000% voluntary, and all the pieces just fell in. So, you know, it was just meant to be.
Yeah.
And it really was from our perspective too. I mean,
Yes.
I remember because when we first went in the studio, it was a breath of just absolute fresh air. The building was beautiful. The studio was beautiful. Everyone was so nice and wonderfully creative.
Yeah.
Everything with the song.
And keep in mind that
Yes.
when you guys walked in, we had only met each other about an hour or two before. So that's really how special this was. This was quite an experience.
Yeah,
for me.
it was a breath of fresh air, yet breathtaking.
Oh yeah.
Very well said.
Thank
Emily,
you.
I'm going to borrow that one.
Okay.
I'm going to borrow that one.
All right.
I'll give you credit.
Thank you.
So what was going through your head as you watched the song unfold and the whole process happen?
Well, you know, as also as a producer, you have to, and you get into these kinds of creative situations, you have to know when to put your ideas in and when to walk away. You know, you have to be half sheep herder and then half wish maker. You know, you have to know when to go in and go out. And, you know, there were no moments of panic. There are some times when you go into a creative project where you go, oh my God, this is just not happening.
Right.
We're not finding the way.
Right.
I have to give credit to you guys because you guys answered the questions. Some other questions, I was a little fearful, you know, some of the tough questions. Hey, what does it feel like to be in your situation in the hospital? How does it feel to be young and, you know, be going through what you're going? I mean, so we did ask some tough questions, but you guys gave us, you know, very, very good answers. And,
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
and answers that led to lyrics. And a lot of times those answers were the lyrics,
Right.
you know? And so, you know, my panic level was kind of disappeared pretty quickly. It just
Right.
kind of went off. It just kind of happened. For example, when you said, and that's one of the reasons why we have that clip in the video, when you said, when I hear raindrops, you know, on the high keys.
On the high keys.
That's how I think of, you know, things on the high keys. And some of the songs I've written start there. And I was like, oh, that's got to be in there. So my level of panic, it just happened. Now, we do have the blessing that you guys contributed beautifully to it. I mean, the song could not have been created without you. That was the first and most important building block. The second thing is that you do have people like Andres.
Right.
Andres has a particular talent, and that's that he hears things other people don't hear. He'll hear 2 or 3 chords put together, and he'll kind of put it in his brain, and
put it
might come in
together.
the next day, but it's in there. You know, and then David, and you had all these talents. I would say that David and Andres played the key roles in helping the melody build.
Right. And to me, listening to the completed song and also watching the making of video, which, by the way, anyone listening is on YouTube, just Google, it's out there waiting, making of video, and you can find it. Several of the elements of the song were influenced a lot by the creative process we had of answering questions and what we enjoyed in music and stuff. For example, you mentioned Emily and the high keys on the piano, and that's in the song.
And just putting it together like a puzzle.
Yes, it was. I mean, I remember I said I liked guitar solos, and there's a big guitar solo in the song, and I was like, wow, they really listened, and it really all came together, and it was wonderful.
Yeah,
there was
and that solo was great. I mean,
It
David, again,
was.
he came in there and he ripped it up. You know, and it was a little bit more electric and a little bit more aggressive than we had anticipated, but it worked. So let's leave it in
made
there.
it, yeah.
It did. It really did. Before we cut to break, please remember to look up the making of music video for It's Out There Waiting on YouTube, and also buy it on iTunes. All the proceeds go to benefit Purple Songs Can Fly. And right now, you guys are going to have a special treat, and you'll get to hear It's Out There Waiting.
Right here.
What would it feel like to be feel the breeze on your face. And what would you give to fly away? The sun warms my face, the moon lights my dreams, and cuts through the darkness. All the things I can't change, falls in my face, and I just keep moving. Out there, waiting. Out there, waiting. Look out my window and see the clouds and the birds and the trees. The sunset of purple or green is the most beautiful light. If you look in my window, you'll see the future is smiling at me. And I have all the strength that I need to keep this light shining on you and me. What would you do to feel no pain? To just let go and dance in the rain? What would you give to laugh in the snow and take all your joy and just let it show? Sun lights my face, the moon lights my dreams, and cuts through the darkness. The things I can't change, for walls in my face, but I just keep moving. Out there, waiting. Out there, waiting. Look out the window and see the clouds and the birds and the trees. The sunsets of purple or green is the most beautiful light. If you look in my window, you'll see the future is smiling at me. And I have all the strength that I need to keep this light shining on you and me. Yeah. Look out the window and see the clouds and the birds and the trees. And the sunsets of purple or green is the most beautiful. If you look in my window, you'll see in my window the future is shining at me. I have the strength that I need to keep this light shining on you and me. Out there waiting.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Voice America Kids Network. I'm Zach Tavlin.
And I'm Emily Freeman.
And today we are talking about It's Out There Waiting by Purple Songs Can Fly and ZapBoomBang Studios. So just before we continue, why don't we just say everyone that worked on the song? So from at least a Purple Songs Can Fly standpoint, that would be me, Emily, Jesus, Layla, Devin, and Alex. And do you remember everyone else that worked? Yes.
Of course. Well, first, you guys were unforgettable. And you guys are our poets.
Thank
So
you.
that's first and foremost. And then from a musical perspective, we have on bass and production, Andres Levin. Then you have vocals. You have Gustavo Galindo from Mexico City. You have Suzanna Choffel from New York and LA and now everywhere. You have Marsha Hancock from Nashville, also on vocals.
Oh.
You have David Garza from Austin on vocals and guitars and the Moog and the piano, and, the washboard and everything else. You have Brandon Temple on drums. You have Gustavo Farias on the Hammond B3. You have Brandon Temple. I mean, not Brandon Temple. You have Stephen Barber, who was our composer, not composer, but our musical director, if you will, for strings and arrangement. And I think that's pretty much it.
Wow.
On the board, you had Edmundo Gomez, who also mixed the song, and we have let's see who else, Matias Lanzi, who was also engineering the piece. And lastly, who else do we have? Well, you have Federico Treger, who played a key role and creative director for the video.
Wow.
The absolute dream team, and it came together beautifully.
Thank
you again.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah.
So, just since people have heard the song now, heard a little bit about the creative process of it, I kind of want to talk with this for a few minutes about the studio itself, because it was absolutely breathtaking, amazing to me, and it left an absolute mark on me in a positive way.
I mean, everything from the carpet to the chandeliers and everything.
I mean, it feels almost as if you're walking into a very, very beautiful wonderland. I heard your wife, Kathy, was the decorator of everything that people will see in the making of video. Is that true?
Well, she did a lot more than decorating.
Oh, yeah.
She was also very key in the architectural design of the place. Now, certainly, when you're designing a sound studio, it's really tricky.
Right.
Yes.
Because you have architects, and then you have sound engineers and sound architects. And, things have to be shaped a certain way to achieve a certain goal. Over the 2 days, a lot of the song was recorded in the studio that is the big one that you guys were in.
Yes.
And that's called the Oceans Studio. And then the Queen Studio is the other studio. But interestingly enough, the control room for both rooms are exactly alike from a sound perspective. So you can move a session from one room to another if you're on the board, and you can't tell the difference. So the sound design is very, very key. So Kathy had all that to do. Now, one of the interesting backstories of that whole thing is Kathy did drive all the sound guys crazy, because sound people love foam, and they love to put things to control sound, which is great. And she would always ask the question, why does it have to be ugly? And nobody could have an answer. It's like, no, it doesn't have to. She goes, well, why can't we paint it? Can't we? If I can achieve the same thing and make it beautiful, why can't I? And it's interesting how that's really stumped them. They were like, So if you go to most studios, it's black foam, gray foam, white foam, eggshells. And she just kind of stumped them as to, you can't put a chandelier there. Well, why not? Which takes me to the other thought. Kathy and I believe that people fall into two key. If you could define humanity in one term and just divide people in two camps, you've got the why not group and you've got the no because group. It's really pretty simple. You're either a why notter or you're a no becauser. And we believe that we want to be in the why not. That's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
That is
It's
true.
a lot more fun.
Yes, I agree.
And that's really ZapBoomBang, and how it looks is just basically the result of Kathy being firmly in the why not camp.
And the result is wonderful.
Yeah.
Well,
there were people that told us that we could not build a studio in this building, that it was too old a building, that it had too many rattles, too many creaks, that the ceilings were too low. Well, why not try? Literally, ZapBoomBang Studios is a building within the building. It floats on rubber grommets, so none of the vibrations from the air handlers, the elevators, nothing touches the studio.
Wow.
It literally floats inside. And had the ceilings been, and I'm totally serious, 1 inch lower, we could not have reached the sound specs we needed.
Wow.
1 inch. So
Wow, that's crazy.
you ask why not enough times, and you just might get what you want.
That's the kind of attention to detail that I thought defined the studio.
Yeah.
I mean, every little aspect of it
Yes.
was perfect.
Well,
Every
thank you.
square
I'll pass that on
corner.
to Kathy because she's very, very proud of it. She has every right to be, and I was smart enough to get out of her way.
And talking again about the song, were there any other elements that you saw as standing back as a producer that you would like to talk about?
You know, it's still a miracle to me. It was truly an experiment, and just the goodwill of it. You know, it just continues to surprise me, and I keep going back to the video and going back to the song. I have not tired of the song. You can imagine how many times I've heard it. I know that you guys have heard it. I don't tire of the song, which tells me, you know, they all, in our business, in the advertising business, a lot of times clients become the first ones to get bored. You wonder why they changed that campaign that was doing so well. But because clients listen to it so much that they think everybody's listened to it a million times and it's got to change. You know, I like the fact that this song has, I think it has the power of longevity. You know, and when a song is built in 2 hours, the way we did it, a lot of times you don't get there. You know, you rely on some of your musical instincts and you create the hooks and you create the bridges, and sometimes you fall into cliches just out of the sheer necessity of getting it done in time. I don't see that in this song. I think that's what I really love about it, that nobody fell onto cliches. It's a solid piece of music that I think has longevity.
That is so true. I mean, I know when I first heard it, because when I first heard it, it was the rough cut, and it was mostly voices and instruments.
Right.
And I don't think there were strings. I don't think any editing had been done to it. And I was blown away.
And even
even in that state, it was amazing.
it was breathtaking.
I think actually in the making of video or the music video of the song, also available on YouTube, you see that moment where I heard the song for the first time. My face just lights up. I have a big smile on my face.
And that was the biggest reward for all of us. Is when we played it for you guys and you guys went, okay, we love it. That was real rewarding for us.
Jaw dropping.
Yeah.
And so I kind of also like to talk about another aspect of the song that was really emotional, I know, for everyone involved, and that was the contribution of Jesus to the song. When we first came in, it was my first time meeting Jesus, and except for the time when I think we met a little bit at the hospital, and he was an absolutely wonderful person.
Yes.
Incredibly gifted in poetry, music. I remember he was he was kind of in the back of the group, just writing out lyrics and being sort of quiet. And then he brought them up, and I think all of them are pretty much in the song.
Yeah, he was quiet thunder for sure. He really was, because you're right. He kind of, he and Gustavo hit it off right off the bat. It was very, very interesting. Jesus' character, to me, very quickly, very soft, but very powerful. I mean, he was not a young man who you would meet and forget. I mean, just very, very quickly. And, you know, everything he wrote made it in, every comment he made. And it's not because anybody was playing favorites. It's because it was very relevant. He got what we were trying to do. His thoughts were strikingly wise and profound. And so, you know, his contribution his fingerprint on the song is pretty deep.
It is
pretty deep.
It is. And I think that's one of the reasons, at least for me, it was so fitting to dedicate the song to him. Yeah. Sadly, Jesus passed away shortly after the recording of it, and it hit us all.
Yes. It hit everybody hard. Yes. You know, we were right in the middle of editing the music video, and I know that over at the shop we all had to go pencils down. There was just I couldn't really make it through the footage. I think everybody just went, okay, you know what, pencils down, and let's take a deep breath, and you know, and think about him, and then when the moment's right, keep going. So it was 2 or 3 weeks before we could really get our sea legs, as they say, get our sea legs under us.
Yeah.
Quite a young man. Quite a young man.
Indeed. But I do think that having this song dedicated to him is just another element of the song that really shows its heart and its purpose. It really is meant to send a message, and I think that's the way Jesus would have wanted the song to be. And I think it would
you bring up a very good point, Zachary. It's at the end of the day, this is more than a song. This is about humanity, and it is about feelings, and it is about lives, and it is about what it is about. And so many times in music, and in the hooks and in the melody and the groove, everybody forgets about what it is about.
Yeah.
Right.
And
that facet.
And one we could not. And if you want the backstory on how the dedication came about,
Yes.
the dedication came about from the artist immediately. As soon as we lost him, the artist said this should be dedicated to him. And I mean, it was like there was no brainer. It was like
Right.
yeah, duh. But it does add that incredible reminder and humanity to the project. This is a lot more than a song,
It is. It really is. And I think it is only fitting to end this segment with a song by Jesus. And this is That Love by Jesus.
It's the most beautiful time of the year, Valentine's Day. Little king of romance is here, I know the way. Boys, get your girl by your side and tell her how you feel. Let your heart be your guide, show her love is real. There's so much love, let's imagine, and share some of that love, that love. There's so much love, let's imagine, and share some love, that love, that love. Girl, please here, I'll never let go. Guys, hold her tight, look deep in her eyes. If you're lucky enough to find romance, enjoy, you only get one chance. Boys, get your girl by your side and tell her how you feel. Let your heart be your guide, show her love is real. There's so much love, let's imagine, and share some of that love, that love. There's so much love, let's imagine, and share some love, that love, that love.
The heart
Doesn't need to see beauty.
the heart
Only needs to feel that love, that love. There's so much love, let's imagine, and share some of that love, that love. There's so much love, let's imagine, and share some love, that love, that love.
Wow, wasn't that a great song? Welcome back, everybody. That was That Love by Jesus.
And wow, that was powerful.
Yes.
I do think that just before we go on, one of the lyrics that Jesus came up with was "Beautiful Light," which you hear repeated a lot in "It's Out There Waiting," and I really do think that the message behind that becomes more powerful with his legacy. You know, it's both the hope and the legacy and the message of the song. It's kind of reflected in that phrase.
Well, it's a line that we certainly couldn't ignore.
Yeah.
It ended up for him being a little prophetic. And the way we interpreted it when we were building the song is it was the optimism of what is out there. The outcome be whatever it may be. For Jesus, it was him moving on, but he was not fearful. He was confident. He was very much at peace with everything. And so, certainly none of us knew what was going to happen, but when it did happen, it was like, wow, okay, we get what he was communicating, knowingly or unknowingly. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think a good song, if not a great song, is a song you can put on like a nice coat. It fits. You can take those lyrics and make them your own, make those lyrics mean whatever they might mean to you.
Right.
Is it sunshine? Is that the beautiful light? Is it just being out and enjoying life as you want it and as you wished it? Or is it something more prophetic like Jesus in Jesus' case? Great songs you put on and you just wear. One of my all-time favorites, James Taylor's been one of my idols forever and ever and ever. And Fire and Rain, the real meaning behind Fire and Rain is fairly tragic and fairly sad. But, if you're with a really dear friend and you want to communicate, hey, you're right here with me, Fire and Rain's a great song and a very up song, so it's a great song you just put on. Right. You just put on. And that's, again, back to the longevity that I think this song has. I think it's got that power for anybody in situations like this can just put it on.
I would totally agree.
Yes.
I think there's a definite strong intended message, but there's also a universality to the song. It can be listened to by anyone, and everyone can have their own interpretation because everything is so deep and multi-layered. I would agree. So what are your hopes for the song in the world? This is more like focused on looking forward in the future with the song.
Well, we've birthed it. It's out there. It is still a baby. Certainly, it's
so to speak.
But it's catching on, I believe. The video's getting a lot of views. I'm looking forward to the reports on sales and seeing how that goes. My hope is that it will actually live out there and have its own life. Andres and I have talked about, does it have a future in the Grammy world of sorts? We will certainly see. Yeah. I know that the entire community's out there pushing it. So we're really hopeful that it will take flight. To me, you put things out there and sometimes they catch on their own and they go, and sometimes they don't. For me, the important part of the song is that it's the first of many. I'm hoping that this will be the first thing we do with you guys, and that we'll be doing a lot more of these things, and who knows, maybe one day do a full LP. Not that exists. I just aged myself, didn't I?
But you made yourself cooler. Not age yourself.
Yeah, I brought the vinyl. But and that's the project got mentioned in Times Square, as you know. It's really caught a lot of eyes. The fact that newspapers and blogs all over the country, and I suspect beyond this country, have picked this up. I've got pretty high hopes for it.
As do we. I remember actually there was, right after we recorded the song, there was a party for the opening of ZapBoomBang Studios, as the song was the first thing recorded. And, I remember talking to some of the artists, and one of the first thoughts was, I hope we do more of these. The power of the song is such that everyone who is involved kind of wants to keep on going.
And today, when Kathy and I were having our Sunday coffee together, we talked about what's next.
Yes.
It's very much on everybody's mind. Everybody's really smitten and bitten by this thing called Purple Songs Can Fly, and everybody's very, very eager. So, a step at a time. But we're very hopeful. We really very much are.
And you mentioned a little bit about Times Square.
Yeah.
And of course, there's the YouTube video. I've also heard some talk of ebook, Las Vegas. Could you talk about some of the exciting things the song has been doing?
Well, everything's just a bunch of thoughts and ideas floating. I mentioned earlier when we were off the air, about having role assignment
Yes.
and having expectations management. I think right now the thought is really help the song be exposed to as many ears as possible. Let people enjoy it, buy it.
Yes.
And,
Yes,
and
please.
buy it.
Yeah.
iTunes.
Yes.
and let the song breathe and live. It's interesting what's happened in a lot of people say the music business is a mess. I disagree. I don't think the music business is a mess. I think the record business is a mess. And you don't necessarily need a big label. We are our own machine. I mean, some of the greatest artists out there, whether it's Mumford or Sons or whoever else, a label picked them up, but what did the label do?
Right.
So I think this song has, as much a chance as anything out there of getting great popularity and great play. I would love for it to see. I'd love for it to get some airplay. I would say that would be because I'm going to date myself again, but radio is not dead. Radio is alive and well, and I would very very much like to see it get some airplay. I think that's where my head is at.
I wholeheartedly would agree with you.
I
That would be
agree.
awesome. Just turn on the radio and hear the song. It'd be powerful.
Yes.
So I would like to once again direct any listeners to iTunes to purchase. It's out there waiting. You can also see the video on YouTube. There's also a making of that's very interesting to watch.
Yes.
And all the proceeds from the song go to help Purple Songs Can Fly.
And the music video. When you
And
buy the
the
music
video.
video on iTunes, those proceeds also go to Purple Songs Can Fly.
Wow.
How awesome is
That's
that?
awesome. And there's no better way to start a business with deep ties in the community. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
It is us who thank you.
And ZapBoomBang Studios has been absolutely amazing in putting this forward and being kind of the deliverers of this message and helping a lot of people. Thank you.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep it going.
All right.
Thanks so much for joining us. Thank
Yes. It was great.
I am truly honored. Thank you very much.
You have been listening to Purple Songs Can Fly, produced by Kidstar on the Voice
Yes.
America Kids Network.
Coming up next. Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. I am Zach Tavlin,
And I'm Emily Freeman.
and you are listening to Voice America Kids.
Coming up next is It's Out There Waiting.
What would it feel like to be free? Open and strong, strong as the sea. What would you do to feel the breeze on your face? And what would you give to fly away?
The sun warms my face, the moon lights my dreams, and cuts through the darkness. All the things I can't change, for walls in my face, and I just keep moving. Out there, waiting. Out there, waiting. Look out my window and see the clouds and the birds and the trees.
The sunset of purple or green is the most beautiful light. If you look in my window, you'll see the future is smiling and near. And I have all the strength that I need to keep this light shining on you and me. What would you do to feel no pain? To just let go and dance in the rain.
What would you give to laugh in the snow and take all your joy and just let it show? can't change 4 walls in my face, but I just keep moving. Out there waiting, out there waiting.
Look out the window and see the clouds and the birds and the trees.
The sunsets are purple and green. It's the most beautiful light.
If you look in my window, you'll see the future is smiling at me. And I have all this dream that I need to keep this light shining on you. Help me, yeah. Look out the window and see the clouds and the birds and the trees.
And the sunsets are purple and green. It's the most beautiful.
If you look in my window, you'll see
In my window,
the future is shining at me. I held the string that I need to keep this light shining on you.
Thanks for listening to Purple Songs Can Fly. We'll see you again next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time on the Voice America Kids channel. And remember, for more information about the Purple Songs Can Fly project, visit www.purplesongscanfly.org. We'll be back with more music next week.
Purple songs can fly.